What's going on, Cowboys Nation, and welcome to yet another episode of Craven Cowboys. It's your girl Mickey, aka Craven Cowboys, and yes, I'm here, Eastside. I see you in the chat early. My bad, I'm having some difficulties. I tried to bring up a sports junkie. I see you in here already. Smashed, yes, fam. We really got handled in that one. Yeah, that was crazy. I want to show this clip to you guys real quick because I just want to show what Isaiah Standback said right here because it's really summed up, just really my feeling of this game and just really how, the outcome of it was. Let's take a quick listen.
This game answered your. If there was ever a question in regards to whether or not you missed Jonathan Hankins, or if you would miss him if he had any extended period of time, this game answered your questions. If there's any questions regarding whether or not you should bring in somebody until Jonathan Hankins gets healthy, just as a backup in case he gets hurt again, this game answers your questions. 64 plays offensively for the Buffalo Bills, 49 rushes. 64 plays, 49 rushes for 266 yards, just like Barry talked about. It didn't matter who had the ball. Cook just happened to be the one who got the ball for 25 times, 179 yards. Back.
And as you heard, Mr. Isaiah Standback just said 266 rush yards on our defense. It just seemed like, I don't know, just and it's not really just his defense. The defense didn't show up. The offense didn't show up. It just seemed like the play calling wasn't there. It just seemed like, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, but it just seemed reminiscent of the 49ers game. Like, we went out there, we got behind by one score, we got behind by two scores, and it just kind of seemed like, let me get my music going on. You guys bear with me. And actually, before I get too deep into the stream, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. If you guys listen to me on Twitter, give me a retweet, give me a follow, give me a like if you can. I'm an up-and-coming content creator for the Cowboys, and this is something new I kind of just want to try, just kind of giving my post-game reaction. So just the loss we just took. I wanted to come on, hoping that we would pick, had a dub out there today, but unfortunately, we went upstate. What I'm saying, unfortunately, for whatever reason, just forgone all plans to run the ball. It seemed like it just as you guys see from the thumbnail, 20 attempts. With running the ball with Tony, who had 53 yards. I forget his attempts, but he had 53 yards. I'm going to put it up real quick. I have it up here. Dak had 27 yards. We saw he was scrambling out there. Of course, with the offensive line, definitely not playing their best tonight. Yeah, Tony Pollard, 11 carries and 52 yards. Dak Prescott, 4 carries, 27 yards. Rico Dowdle, 3 carries, 4 yards. You definitely don't want to see the number 2 running back only having 4 yards, especially on 3 carries. That's definitely not encouraging. And it's like I just said, only 20 attempts at running the ball. That's definitely not something you want to see, especially on the road. And that was something they talked about, big coming into this game, because of the weather conditions. And that was the reason why they elevated, Malik Davis. And I was actually excited. I don't know if you guys, like I said, if you guys follow me, you see I tweeted out on Twitter, or X, or or whatever you guys want to call it, that they of course elevating Carl Davis, and also elevating Malik Davis. What I'm saying, I thought we were really going to go in there, even solidifying our run game even more. What I'm saying, just kind of really, I thought we were going to be running it down their throats. I'm saying, but of course it ended up being vice versa. Reminiscent of course the Arizona loss. Of course, and reminiscent of the 49ers loss. I'm saying, just kind of, playing scary once again. Mike McCarthy, I'm not sure, what happens, and he even went to this game saying that, I think he said regardless of us, regardless of the playoff, regardless of the Cowboys, yes, indeed, clinching a playoff, with I believe it was the Packers and the Falcons losses today. He said he still wanted to go in, still playing their same, having their same game plan. But you would think that their game plan would include just a solid, formidable run game. What's going on, JC? How you doing, fam? Thanks for being in the building, man. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm really blown too. I think these boys are really going to keep their heads up. I think that, and I'm not really taking the loss too hard. I'm definitely blown with how, once again, how, the play calling was handled, how the defense handled the running game. Of course, we held Seattle, I think, to, 73 yards just a couple weeks ago. So just seeing that, that once again the team was able to, cook. And he's really been gaining momentum this whole, these past few weeks, really. Because he really, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with them, of course, firing their OC and getting someone new. We see he didn't and really didn't have that, the trust that it seemed of the trust of McDermott, starting the season. And he wasn't making mistakes here or there, but it just, it's crazy that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, it's just crazy that it's crazy to see that they were able to really, literally, put their whole game plan on Cook's back, and for him to run all over us, because not like Josh was running a lot. He was almost 80%. Look like he was handing off. Let me put the numbers right quick. James Cook, actually. All right, Chris. All right, I got it up, you guys. Actually, let me zoom in for you guys so you can see. Of course, you get, you just see Buffalo's rushing yards. James Cook for 25, 179 yards. I believe 122 yards, or I believe 142 yards just in the first half alone. And saying just seeing those kind of numbers against our defense, that's always just been the Cowboys' Achilles heel. When it comes to these rushing teams, and we've seen that against Arizona in week 3. We've seen that against the 49ers. I saw it personally going out there, with the 49ers, myself when I went to the game, and just seeing, just how much the guys and just seeing this in this game, especially like they came out in the second half gas. I'm sure they're already tired, and like I said, giving up over 100 yards in the first half. I'm saying, I think that, us, not us, I'm saying, as far as the Cowboys, but with Quinn, I don't want to say refusing, but just not making adjustments. Like we saw Evans making plays. We saw him make a big stop at the goal line, actually. We actually saw them, I think stopping a touchdown, from Cook, or I don't know if it was Cook or if it was Johnson running in, but him being able to stop that, I think once, I forget who was the player that went down, but I think it was Dono who went down, and then Clark went out right after him. So we seen Evans, step up right at that moment, being able to stop that play. But eventually they were able to get in the end zone. But you see the impact that Evans has on the field when he is out there. So just seeing that we don't make those adjustments sooner, that Dan Quinn just kind of keeps those same players out there. We did go in the game without Hooker, and then later on in the game, Dono did go out. We seen just players take hits that we didn't want to see, you know what I mean? And that just kind of sucks too. Like, just kind of things that we kind of take in this game that, good things, bad things, like players going down. We never want to see that. We never want to see any kind of, nicks or bruises or, real serious injuries. You know what I'm saying? Seeing Zach Martin going down in the first half, that's serious. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to see that, especially a leader in the locker room. So when he gives these guys, not only lessons, but also encouragement. We see he has the weekly phone call, so but we hear parts of what he wants to give us. What he says to these guys in the locker room, and the kind of encouragement that he gives, and it's really we saw he had the ice on the leg, so it was almost sure that he wasn't going to come back in the game. But it's good that he gets his rest. Hopefully it's not not too bad. We saw today bad stuff. He'll go back up. So he had experience, but I think playing, as I mentioned before in the Cardinals game, I think he definitely experienced those O-line injuries early in the season. So it's good to see, like we mentioned, before we come, from that to this point, guys that are young having that experience in the game, and they do have to step up in these late season situations. It's good that they have had that, kind of prep, in their background. So just another thing I want to touch on. Let me see. Look at my notes. Yeah, the Cowboys offense having less than 100 yards in the first half, and really now overall the whole game. 94 yards, I believe it was, for the first half. Not having, it just seemed like I said, the play calling. Like, let me bring up the numbers again. Like I said, the play calling itself. We hardly saw any motion out there. We did see every now and then. It didn't seem like we were going to Ferguson a lot. Like 6 receptions, 8 targets. CD Lamb only 10 targets. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you guys see the screen. You see Stephen A. Pounding off on the side, but we were expecting that. That's really no surprise to see. Everyone. We see the media. Even though we see Shady McCoy already trying to call out Dak for 1 interception. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see anything when Hurts has, a fumble. I think he had a fumble against us. Even when we played him in week 9, but no one says anything about that. You know what I mean? So they've been waiting on this. Media's been waiting on this. Eagles fans been waiting on it. We see them, coming alive now on X or / Twitter. We see them, making comments now about our loss. But we just beat them last week, but we really didn't hear anything. What's up, Nisi? How you doing? Good to see you in here, sis. Yeah, I'm just giving my quick post-game reaction. It definitely hurts that, number one, our offensive line couldn't, maintain their consistency. I think this is what now their 7th, maybe 8th game together. Not being able to, to hold up. We saw Steele having trouble. And I didn't expect, honestly, I was surprised to see that Lloyd and I think his name was Russo, for the Bills switching sides. I didn't expect that, honestly. I thought that Steele was going to be, I thought that Tyron Smith was going to be facing Leonard Floyd for most of the game, honestly. But seeing that Floyd and Russo, like I said, Floyd and Russo on switching sides, definitely kind of, threw me for a loop. And of course, we saw, Steele having trouble on the right side, and even I was surprised to see Tyler Smith, kind of having trouble on that combo block on the left, because it's definitely rare to see. Because I was actually going to do a show pregame. I just didn't, just ended up having the time. But I saw the article on X that Michael Gelkin did about Tyron and Tyler Smith, both loving the playing together and now being able to play off each other. They had that chemistry now where they're able to gel. They talk about, of course, Tyler talks about Tyron doing it for a long time, giving him, tips here and there. So, it's just good to see that they're having the chemistry on and off the field, but, in the same, kind of in the same hand, it just kind of sucks to see them kind of going into, this game. And really the O-line, like I said, with Zach Martin kind of going down, I'm sure that kind of kind of threw off the consistency with them, and Dak really having, not that much time to, get the ball off in the pocket. We saw him scrambling a lot. We saw him taking a lot of hits, and even coming back in the game, when the game, when it was still like 31-3, before they did get that touchdown, that was it definitely did seem unnecessary. And like I said, even with the line allowing Dak to take that many hits, let me look at the numbers. Let's see how many hits it says. Actually, by Dak's rating at 38.4. You know what I mean? For the complete game, it's just really had 3 sacks for 28 yards. I can only imagine. We'll see. Buffalo defense had 7 quarterback hits. Even their secondary, 7 passes defended, 4 tackles for loss. Yeah, they were in the backfield a lot. 3 sacks, 56 total tackles. Like, we see the defense going point. We saw even before coming into this game, defense was going to be a problem. You know what I mean? Their defensive line was stout. The defensive line, likes getting, their secondary likes getting turnover. We saw they were actually very physical early on. We saw them. I don't want to say they were. I don't want to like I said, the team is going after a quarterback, but we saw how they were going low. We saw Dak giving himself up, and second level players, going on him even after giving himself up, going after his head. And of course, we saw Zach Martin step up and take that penalty. But I'll take that all day. It's crazy that these players, are thinking they're getting away with something, or thinking they're doing something by, adding a little extra to their tackle. But really, you're only after, going, as we see it, I'm sure the team see it, you're only going after a quarterback. You're only making it personal for this team. And I was hoping that they would take it, more as a, kind of put like a fire underneath them, honestly. Not trying to criticize them, but I wish we kind of lit more of a fire underneath them, because that was the way they came out physical. I know they were already kind of a physical team coming in, but just kind of how they kind of came at us in the first quarter, especially how they were kind of, how it seemed like they were kind of coming after Dak, with some of the, the crazy tackles they were having was, kind of threw me off. Yeah, exactly, Bruce. And thank you for joining me. Before I get your comment, thank you, fan, for being in the building. I really appreciate you. So discussing tonight that Buffalo had the game plan that we should have used. Exactly. And it seemed like we were doing it early on. We saw Tony, and we saw. I guess that's one bright spot I will take from this game is that Tony had a decent game. Like, granted, he did only have 52 yards. I want to make sure I get it right. Granted, he had 52 yards on 11 carries, but he averaged 4.7 yards per carry, almost 5 yards per carry. It seemed like, and even last year when he was averaging that, it seemed like we didn't stick with that game plan. And even earlier in the year when Rico was averaging close to 5 yards per carry, we weren't, giving him more torque to the ball. So it's it's frustrating once again to see McCarthy not kind of stick with the run game. Like only having 20 attempts, especially in a game like this that's already going to be, kind of wet conditions. You're not sure what you're going to, an unfamiliar opponent. So you want to just kind of lay a foundation, and just continue to lay that foundation you laid in previous game. Like they even said in previous press conferences that they want to have, each team, each coordinator goes into a game with a set, a set certain number of, run attempts that they want, rush attempts that they want to have. Shadi talked about this in his presser, so I'm really surprised that they didn't really, stick to, what I thought would be their game plan going into this game, especially elevating Malik Davis. You have him for the reason that you want to go, or continue to use your aggression in this game as far as the run game, but maybe they weren't sure. I mean, like I said, you can see the guys working in the backfield. He had, a few tackles for losses. So even so, and even late in the game, just taking those chances, going downfield, putting our guys in even more, these crazy situations. How CD kind of came down after catching that ball, but we saw his leg, kind of land there awkwardly. So it's just like, I just wish that, especially in these conditions, you don't want to take those chances going that, throwing those kind of balls, especially to guys, I understand we have the playmakers, but, it's late in the game was out of hand, these guys going down the field, you know what I mean? I mean, going down the season, you know what I'm saying? Like going down the stretch and into playoffs. So we have to be careful, when the game does get away from us. We can't, start losing our heads like that much. So it's just, I wish, hopefully, we have to go on the road again next week. We have to, kind of shake off this loss and keep their heads up, keep going forward. I definitely still stand with my guys. Anybody who's, wondering, that's obviously why I'm still here, still want to do a video, because I still stand with my guys. I'm not that shaken. After this loss, I wish we would have fought harder. Yes, I do. Wish that the play calling was better. I wish that we would have made adjustments, especially, I think that, I don't think it took the wind out of us on the Cowboys, but I wish we would have done more, on that 2-minute drive going into halftime. But I think, even scoring there would have gave us, we would have got up and still just been down by 2 possessions. Like making it 24, I think it would have been like a 24-10 game or something like that going into the half, and you get the ball coming out of halftime. Just kind of, it kind of helps yourself, as we saw last week with the Seahawks, being able to do that on us. So you would think that we would, hopefully learn and take that lesson from that game and bring it forward to this game. But, unfortunately, we didn't see that. We didn't, take advantage. I think in the second quarter, I don't think we scored any points in the third quarter, and that's something I pointed out earlier in the season. Because, hopefully the Cowboys can become a better third quarter team. Let me see. The Bills took advantage of took advantage of our weakness, and they really put on a show. Honestly, they really just put on a whole, showcase of really how to run the ball. And Arizona showed it first, over 100 yards in the first half. I think it was 122 rush yards. From James Conner, Josh Dobbs, those guys back in week 3. And then of course we've seen it with the 49ers there. We saw more more passing plays in that game, but they were able to run the ball. McCaffrey is, just a whole nother type of player. So we know that. But so it just having this game, he and James Cook even improved even more. I'm gonna throw this tweet right quick from Michael Galkin. He says that, let me see. I want to bring it up correctly. He says that. Yeah, he says James Cook is the first player with 200 scrimmage yards and 2 scrimmage touchdowns versus the Cowboys since Washington's Alfred Morris in December 2012. Now, of course, this tweeted out by Todd Arthur. If you guys aren't following him on X, make sure you guys follow him as well. I actually have him on tweet reminders, so whenever he tweets anything out, I make sure I look at his tweets that he gives out. He's one of the beat writers. He works for ESPN, so he gives out a lot of good information. I found it kind of funny because of course Alfred Morris played for us. I think for a year or a couple of years. As a running back for us. So James Cook having 200 scrimmage yards, and Cowboys actually held that record. For all those weeks of a running back, a wide receiver not being able to get more than 100 yards on us. So it's just it's wild. Actually, I didn't even have that thing up on the screen, y'all. That's crazy. And now it's up here. My bad, y'all. But yeah, so I mean, I guess like I said, as you can see, yeah, James Cook had 200 scrimmage yards and 2 scrimmage touchdowns against us. So it's for us to be able to allow a running back, really a single guy from the other team, to be able to do that to us, kind of speaks volume as to where even in week 15, week 16, I'm not sure which week exactly this is, but like, speaking to this point in the season now, run defense can still let up this many yards. And that many yards in the first half, especially when just a couple weeks ago or a week ago, we were able to hold a team just to under 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? And even, on the other side, us not being able to have 100-yard games with our running back. I'm saying that was the streak we were also, trying to, continue going into this game. That's something, unfortunately we weren't able to uphold, for the Cowboys. But yeah, another thing I want to point out, the penalties, and even though we only had 5 penalties, they were crazy, penalties at the absolute wrong time. You know what I mean? I think 2 to 3. I think 2 personal fouls and roughing the passer. We had 1 roughing, running into the kicker or roughing the kicker, whichever one it was. From Sam Williams, and those are just so unfortunate. As we see, D-Law's penalty, gave them 4 points. Sam Williams roughing the punter, 7 points. Curse's penalty, which is definitely questionable. He kind of tackled him, from behind, and that led to another touchdown, touchdown drive. So it's just, like you said, them giving up 18 points with 3 penalties and maybe more. And that's just 3 penalties, man. That's just 3 mistakes. And some people, maybe some people look at penalties as not being important, or saying penalties can be a small thing. But as we can see in games like this, they can be a very big thing that it can be very costly. So just these things, here, just us not being a consistent team just yet on the road, just kind of just cause for concern right now. I'm not concerned, like I said, overall as far as the them not being able to overcome it. I still think that they'll be able to overcome this, be able to move forward to Miami. Miami, I'm sure, doesn't play as physical as the Bills defense, but we still have to be prepared for physical teams. We have the Lions coming up in just a couple weeks or a few weeks, however you want to count it, because we're still technically in this week. So just, in a couple games from now, we got to play the Lions. We got to play Washington. Late in the season, they got a physical D line, so we got to be ready for games like this and going into the playoffs. But these teams are going to play like there's no tomorrow, especially when you get into the playoffs, because there literally is none. So it's definitely a good loss to take right now, and definitely don't want to take a loss because we once again don't control our own destiny. But it's good for the Cowboys to be able to look at what they egregiously need to work on, and also take what they're what we can't what they can't take from their performance, what bright spots they can't do. So if we just continue to to work on those, capitalize off those moments, capitalize off Tony Pollard. Like I said, that's one bright spot I will take. Tony Pollard, seeming to get back, or seeming to be, if he's for a few weeks, he's seeming to be a strong runner, being able to, break through those tackles again, kind of breaking through the A gap, the B gap, even finding the edges. I'm saying, kind of getting back to the Tony Pollard we saw last year, and kind of just being able to, as we see him handle that top role, of being running back, and hope being able to carry the run game. But we just need to be able to continue to meet that trust in him. Just even if we do get behind, not playing scary, not being afraid to still stick with the run game. We see the Bills did it, and I'm not saying even though they didn't get behind, but we see other teams doing. Someone's doing an example out there of, of course, unfortunately, Jalen Hurts was behind and able to come back. And we know they're playing. We know they run the ball. So if we just stick with the run game, I think if we just still stuck with the idea of getting 30 run attempts, even just 10 more attempts, could have even, we've seen plenty of, 2nd and 1s in this game. The third one, I think I tweeted out, I think it was the 3rd and 1, and Dak could have easily just done a quarterback sneak, you know what I mean? But instead, they want to. They hand it off to the running back, but it's so unfortunate to see them. They lose 5 yards. You know what I'm saying, on a play like that could have easily you could just convert it, into a 1st and goal. Like I said, in situations like that, we can't have mental hiccups. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can take lessons from this loss right here, and hopefully I'll be able to come back. We'll go watch the game again, either tomorrow or Tuesday. Be able to come back and give kind of a better analysis, with more thoughts on my game, more thoughts on the game, and it's definitely gonna be tough to rewatch. Us only having the offense only having 3 points, down to the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? This seems so uncharacteristic of the Cowboys, and then I definitely think that they can take lessons from this win and be able to move on. Of course, and they had no choice but to move on. And be able to take lessons from this win and be able to apply it. And look at the tape and see what mistakes were made. You know what I'm saying? What things that they just completely just lack on, and what things that that they were able to accomplish in this game, that even though that may be hidden by how they're feeling right now. We're just coming off the loss, to be able to see with fresh eyes and not, we can't take the loss that hard, and they have to be able to move forward. So, and that's pretty much my reaction, for the show. Last comment, Lucy says, this loss would have been more acceptable if he showed up and adjusted. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, sis. Like, not saying, really, I'm not saying they didn't make adjustments, but it didn't seem like adjustment on either side of the ball. Just, like I said, doesn't put any kind of wavering in my confidence, but I do want to, we did see them make adjustments, in the previous game. But I definitely want to see, just smarter game plan, better play calling, and just seeing what they can see what can be put into the thought process. Some of these calls at this particular time, because like I said, certain groups. We got on Kellen Moore last year. We're going empty at 2nd and 2, but we can't have a McCarthy. You can't have a 3rd and 1. When you're almost 1st and goal. You know what I'm saying? So things like that, you can't. Like small mistakes can become huge, especially when you're playing playoff teams. Like as we talked about before, when it comes down to these teams, this point in the season is about the details. So, like I said, that's my show for tonight, you guys. Thanks for joining me. On your way out, make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're listening on Twitter, like I said, give me a like, give me a retweet, give me a follow. Craven Cowboys on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I hope you guys have a great evening. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week. Like I said, I'll be back later in the week with hopefully another video. Make sure you guys catch me on Wednesday with Stargator Sports Media. We have a show every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central Time. Star Chasers, Girls Talk Ball. We'll be back Wednesday evening. Hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out.